There is no nightmare worse than being stuck in one of Jigsaw's traps. Watching countless characters die because they couldn't solve the puzzles in time makes us wonder, what would we do if we were chosen to be part of his games? Keep on watching as we discuss how to beat or solve Jigsaw's puzzles. Let's start at the start. We start off with a man who is running from the cops and goes to a rooftop where he finds a detonator that's been taped to a beam. When he's cornered, he demands to see Detective Halloran. If the detective doesn't come in 17 minutes, 5 people would die. When the detective arrives at the scene, he assumes the criminal means that 5 hostages are taped to a bomb. The man then pulls the switch, and the cops start shooting at him. But there's something off about the whole situation. He's holding a long-range wireless detonator, which usually has a range of 1,000 meters, and has to have a line of sight, which means whatever it's triggering has to be nearby. But there's nothing around them except for a bunch of empty factories, and this event is what triggers Jigsaw's game. Up next, we have the Wall Blades trap. At the same time, somewhere in a dim room, a countdown ends and 4 people wake up chained to the wall. The only obvious way out is a door made of saw blades, until they hear a voice of a man telling them that all they need to leave is a blood sacrifice. Their chains then start pulling them towards the spinning blades. If we were in that situation, we'd definitely be terrified, but the characters start wasting time by resisting the pull when there are a couple ways they can escape using quick thinking and strategy. Now, since the voice didn't specify whose blood it needed to be, you would think that you could just push someone else into your door's blades. But the room is being monitored, and there's really no way of evading any consequences, so cheating would not be the way to go. One of the women has an epiphany and walks towards the spinning blades. It works as the blades stop spinning, and the light on her helmet goes green. But first, we definitely try to cut the chains with the saw, and only consider where to cut ourselves if that failed. The others follow the woman's lead and save themselves, but the last man fails to stop the blades in time and gets killed. In the autopsy, the medics find a jigsaw-shaped cut in the man's skin, the calling card of the jigsaw killer, John Kramer, who has been dead for 10 years. The survivors who made it past the first trap then try to figure out why they've been chosen, and realize it's for their past sins. Now, let's dive into how to beat the syringe trap. 3 syringes get dropped down, which are all marked with numbers. The tape recorder plays a message saying that a purse snatcher has been poisoned, and only 1 shot had the antidote, the other 2 saline and a deadly acid. Their only clue is a confusing question: what is the value of a life to you? The blonde's guilty expression lets them know how quickly that she's the thief, but the problem is, she won't take the shot. But there might be a way to outsmart this. Since the acid will burn, if you put someone's skin or supply blood to test the compounds and experience itching, skin necrosis, or rashes, you may be able to eliminate it, and by confirming the taste of salt, you would be able to confirm which one is the saline solution. But relying on other people in this case would be risky, so dishonesty and hesitation could get you killed. If the lesson Jigsaw wants to shame you with is not valuing life, then the syringe with the lowest number as a monetary value could be the one. Instead, the bearded man stabs all 3 syringes into the woman and they're all set free. The guy in plaid checks the sequence of numbers inside the antidote syringe, which he then uses to successfully unlock the door. Now, we have the leg trap. They're now trapped in another room with barred windows. One of the men starts walking around recklessly and falls straight into the next trap, getting his leg stuck. They find the tape recorder, which tells them that they need to pull the lever that would cut his leg to be set free. You could try to get him out by attaching the chains and hooks to the pulley wheel, pulling the reverse trap, and giving enough slack to pull his leg out, but this probably wouldn't work because of the insane strength required. The best option would be to find something that's heavy enough and can act as a counterweight to relieve the tension of the wire. There are plenty of heavy objects in the room, and if you figure out the leverage needed, it might just work. Next on the list is the grain submerging trap. All the lights then go out, except for one in the silo, and they walk inside to find a TV remote. When they grab it, the door immediately locks, trapping them inside. The man outside is told to pull the lever to save their lives at the risk of losing his leg, just as the silo begins filling with grain. You could try taking the door off the hinges before going in, since it's clearly a trap. Grain entrapment is pretty serious, taking only 22 seconds to become submerged. You could wrap your shoelaces around your hands and weave them through the holes in the iron mesh to remain on top of the grain. Spreading your weight around can also make it harder for you to get sucked in, which can buy you time. Sharp objects like saws and pitchforks begin raining down in the silo, and one of the survivors even gets hit. The man outside then pulls the lever and gets his leg sliced, and the silo door opens. Now, we have the handbrake trap. While the woman bandages the guy's leg, the other survivors try to open the door. Suddenly, a tractor lights up, and he finds a tape recorder meant for him, falling right into another trap. We find out that the man had sold a faulty motorcycle to Jigsaw's nephew, who dies minutes after buying it. If he doesn't pull the handbrake at the bottom to halt the swirling blades, he'll basically be turned into human sashimi. The gears of the trap are exposed, so you could shove a strong metal object between the gears to jam them. The woman does try it, and it temporarily works, but soon enough it pulls through that as well. One thing they could have done was help him swing before he was lowered, so the momentum would help him grab and get on the bike. But it isn't a full solution, since there's no kill switch and the brake can only be accessed through the trap. Stopping the battery wouldn't help, since since the engine is already running, but the key in the ignition might be able to do something. Unfortunately, time runs out and the man is killed. Up next, the gun trap. The woman makes it out, but gets knocked out by a man in a pig mask. When she wakes up, her and the other survivor are chained to a wall, and Jigsaw is very much alive. We find out the woman had smothered her baby, then framed her husband for the crime. Jigsaw leaves a shotgun with just one bullet, meaning one would have to kill the other, and she immediately lunges for it. The woman ends up taking the shot, and it backfires, killing her. The surviving man finds the keys to their shackles in the shell, which means they both would have lived if she hadn't shot at him. Thinking about the moral lesson Jigsaw was trying to give here would have helped with this one, but since there's no time limit, they also could have tried to break the padlock, and the railing with the 4 screws could have been kicked to let the chain slip. It isn't a great option if you only have one leg though, so you could disassemble the gun and try to pry open the padlock with some wrenches. And now, we have the final game. Halloran and the doctor, who have both been knocked out, wake up in Jigsaw's final game. They have collars of laser cutters around their necks, and if they confess to why they deserve to die, they'd be set free. You wouldn't want to wait for a confession here. You can see the other person's trap and can safely assume yours is identical. To have enough energy to power the laser, there has to be enough wiring inside the mechanized arm. It can't hold your weight the way it's extended, so try to bring the collar down to your weight. This way you could maybe break the arm and cut the power supply. We don't get to see the solution to this one though, as the doctor is revealed to be Jigsaw, and Halloran ends up getting killed. That too after confessing to a long list of crimes. That's a wrap for this video. See you in the next one.